What's going on, everyone? It's Data Report for datareport.info with today's pandemic update for Tuesday, January 31st, 2023. We do not have any COVID positives to report today, but we do have news on a COVID treatment that I posted about last night on the website. A nasal spray called Foxwell is lowering the risk of COVID-19 infection by 60 to 62%. There was a study that was posted yesterday at saying 60%. There was another one that was posted summer of 2022 that's saying 62%. This is some good news. Let's read about it a little bit. A recent study from the Queen Mary University of London found that the Foxwell nasal spray can reduce infection with SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, by 62%. It involved 556 participants. After 45 days, the researchers measured how many antibodies against COVID-19 each person in both groups had. They found that the nasal spray was safe, and that after 45 days, 13.1% of these in the groups that used it had antibodies against COVID-19 virus compared to 34.5% in the group that received the placebo. So this is some good news. This shows that using Foxwell dramatically reduces the chance of developing COVID-19. Wonderful news, because as we know, the vaccines, they can prevent deaths, they can prevent hospitalizations, not all of them, of course, but they're not really good at preventing transmission. So adding this to the tools that we can use would be fantastic, and hopefully we can get it working here in the United States. Right now, it's a Europe thing. All right, moving on to today's update with the transmission. Once again, CDC map is still wrong with the percentages, but what I can tell you is Puerto Rico, all of Puerto Rico is at high transmission. The southeastern U.S., for the most part, is high to substantial transmission, as is the northeast states. The west coast is at substantial, moderate, and low, with a few high transmission areas in between. We'll have to watch and see if this starts going up again, because as you'll see later on, when we get to the Walgreens portion of this video, that positivity rates are starting to rise in a lot of areas. Alright, moving on to the variant proportions. The top 3 or 4 variants right now are still XBB 1.5 at 61.3%, BQ 1.1 is at 21.8%, BQ.1 is at 29.3%, and XBB is at 2.8%. Moving on to hospitalizations. Hospitalizations did rise ever so slightly from yesterday, which is telling me we'll probably see another rise again tomorrow, because Wednesdays typically do have a rise when we're still in the period where it's not dropping a whole lot. So overall, there should be a rise tomorrow. 30,831 people are currently hospitalized. 74.52% of all beds are being used. 4.64% of them are being used for coronavirus. Moving on to New York State. 2,303 new cases today. 6.8% positivity today, which is higher than the 7-day average of 5.8%. So that's not a good thing. Take a look at New York State hospitalizations. As you'll see here, New York State hospitalizations are continuing to drop. They are now down to 2,657, with 288 people in the ICU. And when you get a dropping day on the first day of the reporting day for the week in New York State, that means you're going to have a significant drop continuing throughout the week. As you can see here with the previous dropping days, like the last week, you can see after it had a drop on the first reporting day, it went down significantly. And this happens with most waves, but the waves of last year, if we zoom it out again, it didn't really happen that much. But if you look past pre-spring of 2022, like the end of the Omicron BA.1 wave, look what happened. It just went straight down. And that's what we're seeing again now with this wave. We'll have to see how long it lasts. I'm not convinced it's going to stick around forever. Probably once spring comes, we will see another wave form in New York State. And like I'm about to show you on Walgreens, positivity's already rising again. Take a look here. We have way more number of states now with positivity starting to rise. Even California has reversed. So here's the national positivity. 33.4%. Prior week is 33.4%. That's flat. Total testing is still down ever so slightly, but we do have some states where Their testing is up or very close to being even on last week. Maine is at 33.8% positive, 6.4% increase. New Hampshire is at 42.5% positive now. That's a 7.3% increase. And now for New York State, they are at 40.9% positive. Last week was 38.1% positive. That's a difference of 2.8%. And they are now approaching an all-time high for positivity rate. Let's zoom this in. Yeah, this is very well close to an all-time high positivity rate, if not already is one. And as you can see here, total testing current week 1,183, prior week 1,236. I find this to be interesting because we're seeing the hospitalizations in New York State really drop. So maybe there's a lot of asymptomatic cases right now, or there's a lot of less severe. I don't want to say the word mild. I hate that word. But nonetheless, their positivity rate in New York State's still very high. And another possibility is maybe not all the hospitalizations are being reported, such as nursing homes. We're seeing on the HHS, nursing homes are clearly not added anymore. Long-term care facilities, I should say, are not added anymore, and that is a problem. That's also keeping the HHS numbers lower than they really are. Delaware positivity, 37.5%. West Virginia, 32.7%. Arkansas, 25.2%. Kansas is at 40.4%. And yes, take a look at this. 29.7% positivity rate in California. That is up from the previous week. Alaska is at 33.3% positivity rate with increased testing from last week now. So even with 54 tests versus the 49 last week, they still have a 2.7% difference. And we'll end on Hawaii. Hawaii is now 34.6%. They were 18.8% the previous week. That is up by 15.9%. Yikes. And look at the chart here. It is literally going straight up. 26 tests this week, 32 last week. Tiny amounts of testing, but that is concerning. Finally, we will end on the latest death numbers from yesterday. 155 deaths were added, and 4,104 people are still in the ICU. Alrighty, that is all I have for you today. In conclusion, we're seeing that positivity in some places, at least on Walgreens, is still rising. Hospitalizations were up ever so slightly today. And we're still seeing high levels of transmission in the east, which tells us that we have a lot of work to do in the eastern states in terms of recovery from the holiday wave. And we'll just have to wait and see how long things continue to drop, but who knows what the future lies. I definitely know there's going to be a spring wave, but that period between now and then holds a lot of uncertainty. Alright, thanks for watching today's pandemic update video. Remember to hit the like and subscribe button down below. I am Data Report for datareport.info. Thanks for watching, and stay safe, everyone.